Most people are emotionally addicted. They don't even know it. They're walking around thinking they're making decisions, but really, they're just reacting to whatever their emotions tell them to do. You think you're in control. You're not. Your feelings are. You get angry? Boom, you lash out. You get sad? Boom, you quit. You get rejected? Boom, you crawl into a hole. That's not control. That's not power. That's slavery. And the chains are made of emotion. Every time you chase validation, every time you need someone to approve of you, every time your mood shifts because someone said something or didn't say something, you're giving away control. You're giving away your power. And the truth is, the people who run the world, the ones who really shape things, they're detached. They don't live in their feelings. They use their feelings. They observe them, control them, and when necessary, they kill them. People love to talk about intuition, about following their gut, about being in touch with their emotions. That's great when you're trying to write poetry. That's cute when you're trying to bond with your therapist. But when you're out here trying to survive, to build, to conquer, your emotions will bury you. They'll have you second, guessing your vision, doubting your decisions, chasing approval, avoiding conflict, fearing discomfort. All of that is weakness disguised as self-awareness. And if you want to be great, you've got to rip that out of your system like a tumor. Detachment isn't about not feeling. It's about not being ruled by feeling. It's standing in the middle of chaos, of stress, of betrayal, and not blinking, not reacting, just calculating. You see the moves, you see the noise, but you don't flinch. Because once you master detachment, you can't be manipulated. You can't be controlled by guilt or shame or praise or fear. That's real power. The kind of power that makes people uncomfortable. The kind of power that wins wars before they're fought. And that starts by killing the addiction, killing the need for things to feel a certain way before you act. Stop needing to feel motivated. Stop needing to feel liked. Stop needing to feel safe. Stop needing to feel ready. Every time you feel the urge to explain yourself, to justify your decisions, to seek sympathy, that's the addiction talking. That's the emotion pulling your strings. And you have to shut it down. You have to break the pattern. When you feel anger, don't lash out. Observe it. When you feel fear, don't retreat. Study it. When you feel heartbreak, don't collapse. Rise through it. That's how detachment sharpens you. It makes you less reactive and more strategic, less emotional and more elite. The battlefield doesn't care how you feel. The clock doesn't stop for your breakdown. Life doesn't hit pause because you're overwhelmed. So why would you waste time being at the mercy of emotions that only serve to distract and derail you from your mission? Your peace is yours. It's not a community resource. It's not something you hand out to people who haven't earned it. And yet, every day, people are giving pieces of their peace away like it's candy. To friends, to family, to strangers online. Every time you let someone else's opinion shake your focus, every time you let their emotions infect your state of mind, you're bleeding power. That's not compassion. That's weakness. You don't owe people explanations for your silence. You don't owe them access to your energy just because they want it. The second you start living for approval, the second you start adjusting your course based on what others think, you're done. That's how you lose control. That's how you fall from the inside out. Detachment gives you the strength to choose your battles. Without it, you're reacting to every comment, every criticism, every little shift in someone's tone. People love to test your limits, especially when they sense you need them. They'll push your buttons, guilt trip you, gaslight you, and smile while doing it. Detachment turns that game off. You stop giving them ammo. You stop needing to be understood. You stop needing to be accepted. You focus on what actually matters, the mission. Because let's get real. If someone has the power to ruin your day with a sentence, they own you. If someone's mood dictates your energy, they're pulling your strings like a puppet. That's not power, that's dependence. You can be kind and still cut people off. You can be compassionate and still say no. The myth is that detachment makes you cold. But what it really makes you is clear. It makes you decisive. It keeps your feet on the ground when the people around you are losing their minds. It protects your time, your focus, your momentum. It draws a hard line between what feeds your growth and what feeds your weakness. And when that line gets tested, when someone tries to drag you back into emotional chaos, you don't argue, you don't justify, you move. Quietly, ruthlessly, without guilt. People will say you've changed. Good, you were supposed to. They'll say you're different. You should be. Because staying the same is exactly what they want. It keeps you controllable. It keeps you small. Detachment means you don't flinch when people throw shade. Don't stutter when they question you. Don't shrink when they pull away. You keep moving, not because you're heartless, but because your mission matters more than their comfort. That's power. That's what being unshakable really looks like. It's not yelling. It's not proving. It's not defending. It's the stillness inside you that says, I don't need your validation. I don't need your understanding. I need forward motion. I need peace. And I will protect both at all costs. People think silence is weakness because they don't understand what real strength looks like. They think the loudest voice wins, the quickest reaction dominates, the person who speaks first is the leader. But the truth is, those who can't sit in silence, who can't sit with their own thoughts, who always need to respond, always need to explain, always need to be heard. Those people are slaves to their emotions. They're not strong, they're noisy. And noise doesn't equal control. Silence is a weapon. It's not passive, it's tactical. It's how killers move. It's how the focused operate. You don't hear a sniper coming. You don't hear a lion when it stalks. You hear the weak ones. The insecure ones. The ones who haven't mastered themselves. When you're truly detached, you don't speak to prove. You don't act to impress. You calculate. You assess. You wait. And when you strike, it's deliberate. Not because you're afraid of conflict, but because you don't waste your energy. You don't need to respond to every insult. You don't need to clap back at every critic. You've got nothing to prove to people who don't even exist in your mission. The second you start reacting, you lose your edge. You lose control. You let them pull you into their game, and they will play you if you let them. They'll bait you with drama, bait you with praise, bait you with fear, and if you bite, you're theirs. But if you can stay detached, if you can sit in the chaos and not flinch, then you win. Not just once, every time. People want you emotionally involved. They want to pull you into their world so they can manipulate your reactions. But when you're silent, when you're still, they don't know where you stand. They can't predict you. They can't use your emotions against you because you've removed them from the equation. That's power most people will never touch. It's discipline most people can't comprehend. They confuse silence with fear, but silence is fear's master. When you learn to shut your mouth and open your mind, you see everything. You see through lies. You see through flattery. You see through pressure. And while they're busy talking, posting, crying, panicking, you're planning, you're positioning, you're building. Being silent isn't about staying invisible. It's about staying in control. It's about conserving your energy for the moments that actually matter. You don't waste your words on people who can't hear you. You don't waste your emotions on people who wouldn't bleed for you. You hold your line. You observe. You move when it's time to move. And when you do speak, when you do act, it cuts deeper than anything loud ever could. Because the world isn't moved by noise. It's moved by precision. It's moved by those who know exactly what they're doing and don't need to explain it to anybody. Control isn't about barking orders or standing at the top screaming for people to move. That's theater. That's ego. Real control is quiet. It's internal. It starts with you before it ever touches the world. You want control over your life? Then start with the war inside your own head. Start with your reactions, your urges, your fears, your addictions. Because if you can't control yourself, everything else is a performance. You're just a loud mess in a nice suit. Real control doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't chase, it doesn't beg, and it doesn't need applause. It knows who it is, where it's going, and what needs to be done to get there. Control is not domination. It's discipline. It's locking in on your mission so hard that everything else becomes irrelevant. You're not led by your impulses. You're not owned by your cravings. You're not swayed by people trying to get a rise out of you. Control means you don't hand over your power every time someone disrespects you. It means you're too locked in to be pulled off course by petty noise. You hear it, sure, but you don't respond to everything. You don't react emotionally. That's what separates the powerful from the desperate. The desperate need to be seen, to be right, to be validated. The powerful need results, and they'll suffer in silence to get them. When you're in control, you don't depend on motivation. You depend on routine. You show up whether you feel like it or not. You move with intention, not emotion. You operate from structure, not moods. You build habits that carry you when everything else fails. Because you know emotions lie. One day you're fired up. The next, you're doubting everything. You can't build an empire on feelings. You build it on discipline, on structure, on detachment from the chaos inside and outside. People think control is about controlling others. That's a rookie mistake. Control isn't about bending the world to your will. It's about not being bent by it. It's about building yourself so strong that no matter what comes, criticism, betrayal, failure, success, you don't lose your balance. You don't crack. You don't get pulled back into old patterns. You stay neutral. You stay grounded. That kind of control is rare. It's not sexy. It's not loud. But it's lethal. It's what makes people trust you, or fear you, or both. The thing about control is that it's invisible when it's real. People don't see it until they feel it. Until you keep your cool while everyone else breaks. Until you're still winning when others are burning out. Until you're not begging for attention, but getting it anyway. That's because you're not reacting to the world. You're designing your life from the inside out. And that design is built on control. Not fake control, not forced smiles and buried anger. Real control, self-control. And the source of that is detachment. Every time you let your emotions make the decisions, you're handing your life to something you can't even see. You're handing your power to impulse, to insecurity, to fear. And the worst part is, you don't even realize it's happening. You think you're following your heart. You think you're being authentic. But you're just reacting. And every reaction is a step backward. Every emotional outburst, every meltdown, every moment you waste trying to fix someone else's opinion of you is you drowning in weakness. You want to rise. You want to build something unbreakable. Then you better detach. Detach from the outcome. Detach from the applause. Detach from the pain. Detach from anything that tries to pull your focus off the mission. People say detachment is cold. That's because they've never been tested. They've never had to fight for something so relentlessly that emotion became a liability. They've never had to choose between love and progress, between peace and purpose. But if you're on that path, if you're chasing something real, then at some point you'll learn. Emotion is the storm that keeps most people stuck. Detachment is how you sail through it without capsizing. It's not about shutting down. It's about not allowing the world to yank your strings every time it wants a show. Because people will try. Life will try. It will use your past, your pain, your ego, anything it can to pull you off course. Detachment is cutting those strings before they become chains. You can't chase greatness and carry emotional baggage at the same time. You can't reach your next level while still clinging to what should have been, what could have been, or who should have stayed. That's dead weight. Detachment means dropping it without apology, not because it didn't mean something, but because it doesn't move you forward. Most people are walking around looking backward, reliving old conversations, replaying failures, rehearsing imaginary arguments in their heads. That's how you stay stuck. That's how you lose years. Detachment forces you into the present. It strips away the noise. It gives you clarity, and clarity is everything when you're under pressure. If you're trying to win in this world, you're going to lose people. You're going to lose comfort. You're going to lose your old identity. Detachment makes that loss feel like a clean break instead of a slow death. You let go of what doesn't serve you, not because it didn't matter, but because it's over. The mission isn't emotional, it's surgical. And the ones who rise are the ones who stop trying to make every step feel good. It won't. Growth is brutal. Leadership is lonely. Mastery is emotionless work done in silence, over and over again. And when you stop needing the process to feel good, you get dangerous. You get sharp. You get free. Because now no one can use your feelings against you. You don't rise and fall based on moods. You rise because nothing else is acceptable. You rise because you detached from the noise and locked in on the climb. You don't get to lead if you're still led by emotion. You don't get to dominate if you're still chasing comfort. You don't get to evolve if you're still addicted to being understood. Detachment is not a choice. It's a requirement. It's what separates those who talk from those who execute. Those who dream from those who build. You want freedom, then cut the emotional chains. You want clarity, then silence the noise. You want power, then stop reacting and start commanding. The world doesn't give you peace. It gives you war. Detachment is how you survive it. Discipline is how you rise through it, and control is how you own it. Stay cold. Stay dangerous.